Welcome to this exciting video in which I would like to show you the DocsAutomator app inside of Zapier. The DocsAutomator app in Zapier allows you to print documents, generate documents from more than 7,000 apps in Zapier as of today. So this creates an unlimited amount of possibility for creating perfect documents inside of your workflows and storing those documents wherever you need them. There are two videos that you might want to watch to know everything about the integration. This one, which is really like a foundational video, is going to get you to your first created document. And then there's a more advanced video where we go a bit deeper into looking at line items, for instance, how to print dynamic lists of things. Think about invoice generation and the positions on invoices. So that's going to be a second video after this one. Without further ado, let's get into it. Let's see how we can print documents from Zapier. So for this example, I want to print meeting notes. I have my meeting minutes here in a Zapier table. So that's where our data is stored right inside of Zapier. And what I want to do is I want to print these meeting minutes on a document. So I've created a template. In DocsAutomator, you always need a template in order to generate documents. The templates are in Google Docs. I've actually copied this from the DocsAutomator template gallery and then adapted it a bit. And you can see DocsAutomator's variable syntax here with double curly brackets. And I've defined various variables that I want to fill with data coming from our meeting minutes here in Zapier tables. How I want to trigger this is with a button here that we're going to add in a minute, and then we're going to create our Zap, including the DocsAutomator action. Let's set up DocsAutomator first. We need to create a new automation in the DocsAutomator account. An automation basically tells DocsAutomator what's going to happen in terms of what's the data source and what's the template in our use case. So for Zapier, we need to use the API. At least for this use case, we are selecting the API in order to map data to the variables then in our template inside of the Zapier DocsAutomator app. Let's select the template. I have this template picker here, and I gonna pick the template Automation Mania Meeting Notes templates. So that's this one. And that's all we need to do here for now. This basically is enough now in order to pick this automation later on. Actually, let's give this a name. Let's call this, I don't know, meeting notes. There we go. So now we've given it a name to find it more easily. Now let's set everything up in Zapier. I'm going to create a new button. I'm going to create this, call this button create document. The field type is a button. It's really cool. We can actually select the DocsAutomator app here as an icon in order to trigger this. Let's call this create document, and then we go on create. So now we need to set this up. We need to create a new Zap. This is basically getting triggered once this button is clicked. As you can see here, there's another button already, which is sending the meeting minutes here via email. But now we are creating a document from these meeting minutes. So this is already set up here. The trigger on that button click, I can test it, which now is going to give us the data of that row in our Zapier table. The action now is DocsAutomator. So as you can see here, I have it as the first icon because I used it before, but I can also search for it, select DocsAutomator. And now we need to select an event here. There is only one, there's only one action for now, which is create document. Then we continue, we need to choose our account now. If I click on this, I have a bunch of other accounts already, but I want to connect a new one. A pop-up opens now where we need to add our API key. We find this under settings in our DocsAutomator account at the bottom. I copy this one, I add it in the pop-up, and this has now authorized. And you can see this is the DocsAutomator account that I'm using here. Now I can click on continue, And now I get to the action configuration. Here I'm able to select the automation that we've defined. Let me go back actually, that we've defined before. So here I have all my automations in my account, only one here at the moment, meeting notes. And inside of Zapier, we can now pick our automations. We only see one because there is only one, but we can select this meeting notes automation. Now we see a bunch of more fields popping up. The first one is the document name. Basically, how do we want to call generated documents? In our case, let's use the meeting title for the document name. And then we get all the variables that we have defined in our template. So I can now go ahead and I can say, okay, this is the title, this is the date, oops, this is the time, let me search for it, meeting time, then we have a location, location, there we go, then we have an owner, attendees, key points, whoop, decisions made, and lastly we have our action items. There we go. I don't like how the date is formatted here, so let's actually change this. What we can do is we can say we want to format this like so. So this is a really convenient way of automatically having a formatting step added here. So we can test this. So we get a nicer formatted date. We go here, basically go to our action and then remove the first one. Oops, remove both and we select the output. Okay, now everything is mapped. We have selected automation. We've mapped all our values, so we can click on continue. We test our step. Testing the step basically means we're generating a document and we see how it looks like. Let's wait a second. And there we go. We can copy this, paste it, and there we go. That's how the printed document looks like. Looks pretty good. You could customize this in any way you want. You can change the font in any way you want. This comes from a long text inside of meeting minutes here in the Zapier tables. So as you can see here, these are long text fields in order to print larger amounts of text. Now, as a last step, I want to save that PDF back to my Zapier table. So I add another field here. I call it PDF. We can add the DocsAutomator icon here again. I click on create. Actually, let's actually turn this into a link. There we go. So I add another step after this. I use tables. I say update record. The table ID is meeting minutes. And then the record ID we get from the triggering step. We can type it in. There we go. The record ID, and what I want to change then in this record is the PDF URL here at the end. I can take the URL returned from DocsAutomator, and basically I call this meeting PDF. Continue, we test this. And now we can see the meeting PDF is populated in our PDF field. So that's really like the basic flow of how to add DocsAutomator inside of Zapier. I click on publish, so we can also test this. I remove this. I click on this, and we should see a new document being generated and the link being added in this field in a couple of seconds. There we go. I can click on it and we see the same thing. I want to show you another feature of DocsAutomator, which is really cool. Inside of DocsAutomator, I can say save Google Doc. If I do this, I could select a Google Drive folder where the saved Google Doc will be stored. We don't do that in our case. This would basically mean it's the same folder that the template lives in. In my case here, it's just my drive, so the root folder. If I go ahead into the Zap, I click on Edit Zap, and I create the document again, just this test document. Go on Retest. We're going to see that we're not only getting back the PDF URL, this always takes a second to refresh, but we're also getting back the Google Doc URL. So if I copy this and I open this, this is the newly generated Google Doc with all of our variable data. And I can now go ahead and add some custom text here after the document has been generated. So I could say owners, right, Alice and Bob. I could make adjustments here and continue editing the document that is already dynamically generated, which like a lot of DocsAutomator's customers are using and which is a unique feature of DocsAutomator. I could now, of course, go ahead and also save this in meeting minutes again. Last thing I want to show you in this DocsAutomator Zapier Foundations video is a setting that you put here under template document generation options. If you rely on DocsAutomator saving the PDF, you want to set the PDF expiration to potentially no expiration, which basically means DocsAutomator keeps this file in its storage forever. Or you want to set like an amount that makes sense for you for your use case. I don't know, you want to store it for 1 year, for instance. The default setting is always an immediate expiration, which would mean at some point this meeting PDF in the next 2-3 minutes won't be available anymore because it's immediately expiring. So that, please keep that in mind. This is basically for data protection reasons that it's on immediate. For many use cases, it also makes sense. In this case, if you rely on the PDF being available still, it might make sense to actually set this to no expiration or like a longer expiration date, just to keep that in mind. Yeah, and that's it. That's how easy it is to create documents from Zapier, how to include DocsAutomator, the DocsAutomator app, inside of your Zapier workflows. Of course, you can combine this with any of these 7,000 plus apps that Zapier has at the moment, or that are available on Zapier at the moment. I can't wait to see what you build with it. Let me know if you have any questions. Reach out to support. Always happy to help. And now I wish you happy automating and speak to you very soon.